Would you believe me if I told you that the most formidable armor set in Black Myth WuKong is of common rarity, can't be upgraded, and yet outperforms every other armor set in the game? Yeah, it shocked me too. While on my journey to attain the 𝐒𝐻𝐭 set, I found this out, and boy was I wrong. My last build, King, was dubbed as having no weaknesses, and I truly thought nothing could top the spine shooting Fuban staff with 80% crit hit chance and 200% crit hit damage. But after making this build, I can confidently say it's the most formidable. It may not hit as hard as others, but it's far more balanced. This is the best, hands down. Brawlic is the only word I can use to describe this anomaly. Now, strap in because this is gonna be a good one, packed with detail. Welcome to my channel, it's 𝒉𝒆𝒍𝒑𝒔 from Identity with another insane build. Let's get into it. The purpose of this build is to focus on something other than perfect dodging to completely evade damage. Instead, you take the hits on the chin while dishing them back, and you won't feel bad about it. There are two armor sets you can choose from, one of them being the 𝐒𝐻𝐭 set. After uploading the King crit build, many of you suggested using this, claiming 𝐒𝐻𝐭 is the build with no weaknesses, not King. So I gave it a go. Here's what it does. Its unique effect grants moderate focus upon taking damage, and if the destined one is staggered, it grants even more focus. The 2-piece bonus, Unyielding Resolve, temporarily grants moderate defense upon taking damage, and the 4-piece set disables perfect dodges, but grants tenacity when health is below half. For those of you who don't know, tenacity allows you to tank hits while attacking uninterrupted. Cool, right? To fully embody a tank is one of the best feelings. It makes you feel so powerful. But to be honest, I found the 𝐒𝐻𝐭 set underwhelming compared to what I'm about to show you. And yes, I know the thumbnail features 𝐒𝐻𝐭 and says can't die, but hey, it just looks fire, so I had to keep it. But I'll be straight with you. The idea that you can perform uninterrupted attacks is very useful. It's amazing against almost any enemy besides a boss, because once you get into that boss arena, the damage gets too much for you to handle. No matter how much damage you can absorb, how much defense you have, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Trust me, I've tried this in so many different scenarios, and I wanted so badly for this to work, but you'll ultimately resort to dodging and playing nimble at the end of the day. And if I'm going to do that, I'd rather have my perfect dodge available so that I can retain certain bonuses that they offer, which I'm going to get into later, and those even grant some more damage reduction. So between the two armor sets, I choose the alternate, which I'm going to dive deep into and explain why it's better in so many ways. Before I get into the set, let's talk about the weapon I'm using because it's a huge part of why this build works so well. It's called the Dark Iron Staff, and its unique effect significantly increases attack based on defense. This means we need gear with the highest stats possible, and the 𝐒𝐻𝐭 set is not it. Now, here's the gear I'm talking about. It may look familiar, right? But no, it's not the Monkey King set. It's of common rarity, the lowest tier by the way, and it can't be upgraded. You find it hidden in chapter 6, and my first thought was, that's cool, something nice to wear, but I didn't even bother to give the 4-piece set bonus a second look. Turns out, it's actually the best in slot. Its unique effect increases your defense by 24 for each relic you've unlocked. There are 18 relics you can unlock in total, and once you have them all, just watch your defense skyrocket, outperforming every mythical set. Over 700 defense and other aspects of this build reinforce this playstyle even more. And I want you to look at this fight against the bourgeois beast. I put myself in a bad situation on purpose to showcase the dominance of this build. This is NG triple plus by the way. I didn't have much burn resistance and I didn't use the fan to make it easier. At first, it looks like I'm gonna lose, right? No mana, half of my Gourd sips left, but then I realized this build can take it. I calmed down, accepted it, and handled business. Even with the floor on fire and constantly taking damage from this insanely tumultuous fight, nothing stopped me from asserting my dominance on this beast. He didn't even get a chance to escape before I finished him off. And let's talk about the spirit I'm using. It's perfect for this playstyle, as its passive considerably increases my defense, and Faithful 𝐿𝐴𝐽 just hits too hard, especially if it crits. It's one of the key benefits that help this build's defense boost its attack. I'm using the Wind Tamer for my vessel. Its active grants a massive damage reduction to strong winds, while the passive effect gives increased damage reduction. It was my favorite vessel until I got the Weaver's Needle, but for this build, the Wind Tamer fits like a glove. And just to clarify, damage reduction isn't the same as defense, nor is damage bonus the same as attack. These are multiplicative bonuses that determine additional damage dealt or how much incoming damage can be reduced. Now let's talk about the Curios. I've got the Gold Sun Crow, which slightly increases damage bonus, and when paired with a Jade Moon Rabbit, they grant a combined 3% damage bonus and 5% damage resistance. These are multiplicative bonuses that add upon each other, just like how the Grey Wolf Mask grants 10% damage bonus, and with this duo equipped, that bonus becomes 13%, for example. The damage resistance works similarly, mitigating 5% of total damage dealt to you. These other 3 Curios are very important, all of them increasing your defense even more. I honestly think this gold spiked plate is one of the best defensive items in the game, and I regret that I didn't find out about this until my 3rd NG Plus playthrough. I wish I had more, because it considerably increases your defense by 32 and deals damage to surrounding enemies upon taking damage. This is crazy. And once I get through my NG Plus 4 playthrough, I'll get another one, then I'll have 2 of them equipped. But for now, I have 2 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐻 jars, which are pretty much half of this, at around 14% defense increase. I found an item called 1,000 Days of Inebriation. This allowed me to upgrade my mythical supreme gourd. It now recovers 60% health instead of 35, but the difference is that for a brief moment after taking a sip, the inebriation impairs movement, so I sit there for a second being vulnerable to attack. But it's okay, because one of my soaks is called Iron Pellet, wherein using the gourd can no longer be interrupted by incoming attacks and provides considerable damage reduction. And you know I gotta rock with the turtle tier, of course, for the extra mana when at full health when taking a sip, plus Breath of Fire that increases my attack for the next unveiling strike in Cloud Step. You can decide what you want on here. There are other drinks that you can add, like when you take a sip, it increases your damage reduction for a time. It's just really up to you. But I think this mythical gourd is what you need if you're gonna choose an alternate. For spells, I'm using Cloud Step, Immobilize, and the Pluck of Many. As you can see from the gameplay, the Pluck of Many has become broken, especially later in game, NG pluses and such. When leveled up, your clones will even cast spells, dealing stupid damage. I'm over level 200 now, so I've almost unlocked everything in the foundation and skill tree. I seamlessly switch between stances based on the combat scenario. There's something I'd like to highlight within the thrust stance that I didn't really go over before in my previous builds. It's how you can attack from any distance with a combo loop, a stick and move for as long as you have the stamina to pull it off. Look at this, and tell me that's not fire. You can pull this off by combining Tactical Retreat with Force Cascade, because at any time during Force Cascade you can perform a tactical retreat that then attacks the enemy with a ranged thrust attack while being protected. If you time it right, you can even see through the enemy. And no matter how far you are, after executing this thrust, you can instantly be right back in front of them with Force Cascade. This is such an advantage you have. It's also one of the methods to building crit hit chance, since Force Cascade builds that per hit up to 15%. Something else important to mention on the foundation, specifically the stamina tree. It's what I was thinking about earlier when mentioning another method to getting more damage reduction. It's a skill called Ephemeral Shadow. This grants a considerable amount of damage reduction for a short duration after perfect dodge. This also reinforces why you should use this gear set over the 𝐒𝐻𝐴𝐽𝐻, because you cannot perfect dodge with the 𝐒𝐻𝐴𝐽𝐻, right? So you completely lose out on this. To wrap this up, everything I've explained was necessary to show how powerful this build is. It's what I'll be using for any new DLC or higher difficulty content. Make this build and you won't be disappointed. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for all the love and support I've been receiving from Black Myth WuKong community. Welcome to all the new subscribers, and if you haven't already, hit that button to join the family. If this video helped you out in any way, don't forget to like it and check out my other content right here. I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.